The great wildebeest migration in the Maasai Mara has long been described as the eighth wonder of the world. And every year at this time of year, millions touch down at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, hoping to witness this wonder for themselves. As marketed to them by numerous tour companies and even the Kenya Tourism Board, they hope to board the plane back home, having not only seen thousands of wildebeest cross the Maasai Mara, but the Big Five as well. But one hopes these expectations are managed, as the face of the Kenyan wilderness experience has changed. As can be expected, it's no longer the same wilderness Karen Blixen experienced when she lived in the country 100 years ago. Nor is it the same Mara that David experienced when he started working as a tour guide more than 20 years ago.
The Mara really instead of improving since I started work, it's kind of deteriorated. There's a lot of, what can I call it? A lot of degradation of the environment because of the issues of overcrowding at times. Look at the number of small lodges and camps that have come up along especially along the river Talek. There's overcrowding there, and I think something should be done about it.
Change, it's been said, is inevitable. But the change that has taken place in the Maasai Mara has raised alarm not only on the ground, but on the corridors of power. Poaching has been identified as the most immediate threat to Kenya's wildlife. In the last year alone, 25,000 elephants were killed on the continent, and CITES identified Kenya as being among 3 African countries not doing enough to bring an end to the massacre. But with the threat of sanctions hanging over the country's head, government efforts are in high gear.
The new wildlife bill, which really imposes very, very stiff penalties on those caught engaging both in poaching and trafficking of trophies. We have raised the fine to a minimum now of 10 million shillings for anybody caught, a minimum of 15 years in jail. Definitely we're looking into products as to see how we can encourage also local communities to start up their own lodges as well, community lodges. There's quite a number in the Mara here itself, trying to see how we can get them to benefit from various programs in terms of wildlife protection, so that it also helps us reduce the poaching menace that we have.
An increased number of lodges in and around the Mara may, however, not be the best thing for the animals either. Tourism Cabinet Secretary Phyllis Kandie has taken a stand different from that of the head of state, and is instead pushing for a moratorium on further development in the park.
We are not able, and I think it is wrong for us as the national government to go and market Maasai Mara. Yet we know that Maasai Mara is dying. And that's why this meeting is so important.
So where are you doing this? When 36-year-old Jackson was growing up, there were only a handful of lodges within the park. But those numbers have grown over the years, with 40 leases being issued in the last year alone.
We have this Island, we have also Nabushu, we have also Urkinyei, we have Tororogua, we have Olararo, we have also irrigation in Syria near the escarpment plateau. So why? It's also a question that I would like to ask you. Why these people are getting away from the reserve? They need also to conserve their own environment. Is there any question that you're going to answer me about that?
And Narok Governor Samuel Tunai recognizes that at that rate, not much land will be left for the wildlife, and is working towards significantly cutting down that number.
We are working on it. We have to respect the law. Some things were done before, and we are working together as the government, together with the assembly, to see how we can review some of those leases, to see the ones which are beneficial, to see others which we can negotiate with those partners. So yes, we are aware, but we are working within the law to see to it that we come to an amicable solution or conclusion with so many of those people whom we were given those leases before.
What is perhaps even more disconcerting is that a number of these leases were obtained without an environmental impact assessment being carried out.
I want to focus specifically on the Mara. Some of the licenses that we are talking about, the position of the authority is that we have more than 30% of the licenses here purported to be coming from NEMA are actually fake. We are addressing that. We have done, in the last 3 months, a major inventory on all the facilities that are here. And I can assure you, 30% of them are actually fake licenses.
Despite the assurances that steps will be taken to control development within the Mara, David isn't convinced. A long history of corruption, especially as relates to the collection of park fees, has turned him into a skeptic.
Tourism is very important to us, very important. I can tell you that what you call the domino effect that happens in tourism, it's something that you cannot know, because I get paid by the company that employs me. I visit curio shops that have employed people. We visit other places that the client pays something, and probably I have somebody that I'm helping. So actually, the money that comes in through tourism is a big it's big money. So we've got to be serious when we are allocating money to the industry.
And Kenya may very well be feeling the effects of the plundering of the top revenue earner for decades without putting anything back.
Our best performing year was actually 2011, when we got close to 1.3 million in terms of international arrivals. However, when you look at the year 2012 as against 2011, there was a flat growth, or a slight drop of about 22% overall year on year. Now, if we then focus on January to June this year, because we are moving away from reporting our statistics on calendar basis to reporting on the basis of financial year, because our funding is July to June, which is in line with the government financial year. We've seen a little bit of a decline this June as compared with the same period last year.
There is bound to be even greater pressure on Kenya's parks, with the national government planning to increase tourist visits to the country to 5 million per year. And given the decline in tourist arrivals from traditional source markets such as the United Kingdom, the government has set its eyes on China.
You just said it yourself, 1.3 billion people. We're looking to have 5 million tourists arrivals into Kenya. So definitely China is one of the markets that we'll be looking to tap into to get an increase in our own arrivals and to boost the numbers of visitors coming to Kenya.
But even getting these numbers to the Mara may prove a problem if nothing is done to pave the way there.
Mara really is our best park. When you talk about tourism in Kenya, you really talk about Maasai Mara. But look at the road that goes to Maasai Mara. We have been complaining, especially us driver guides, for a long time. But they come there, put some maram in a few months' time, because that road is very busy. Our vehicles are quite many. In a few months, it gets completely bad, especially when it's high season.
While it may be impossible to turn or hold back time, Kenya must find a way to retain what's left of the heritage on which films such as Out of Africa were based. Or it risks making an empty promise to the millions who give up their hard-earned savings for a slice of what's been sold to them as the eighth wonder of the world. I'm Olive Barrows, reporting for Capital TV.